Sister Turner, let's talk about your race just a little bit as it pertains to these nuances, because there is a difference, right? Let's be clear. Like, not everyone who has a D by their name is going to be supporting these types of policies, Medicare for all these critical issues. And it's not just in your race, but all across the country, right? This is just standard operating procedure at this point, where we have a faction of this Democratic Party who says that they care about the people, but they're not enacting policies. Talk about the differences in your race.
Yeah, I mean, the difference between somebody that is going to vote the right way compared to somebody that's going to fight the right way. At some point, you have to draw the ire of the status quo, of the ruling class, if in fact you truly are fighting for the least of these, our sisters and our brothers and our family and friends. That is the major difference that I am willing to and have proven myself, even in this moment, even after the special election, Georgia and Ben and Dr. K. Certainly I went through the stages of grief over that election because of what happened, the levels of dark money that came into this race to try to pollute and dilute the minds of the people who live, work, and play here. And we do have to deal with the inordinate influence that the oligarchs have on policies. And they are the major reason, besides getting elected officials that have some intestinal fortitude. Since this is a PG show, I'll keep it right there. I want to say something more, more striking, but I'll just keep intestinal fortitude. We need those two things. We have to get the influence of big money out of politics, and we need to elect more people who have intestinal fortitude. So when people talk about I voted or I'll vote or if it comes my way, those are not the people you want to elect. You want to know that of matters of great importance, like your health, your well-being, the well-being of your children, your children's children, whether or not you can breathe clean air, eat clean food, drink clean water, like just the basic things. We can't even go past, Maslow's hierarchy of needs on that base. It's the physiological need. We can't even get to self-actualization until we get a system that understands very clearly that the basics that this progressive movement is talking about is something that people deserve. And that is why I am so in love with the 21st Century Economic Bill of Rights. Being able to walk down memory lane with Dr. K and Alan is a very big deal because it is in us. And when Dr. K talks about being radical, I think it was Dr. Angela Davis who let us know radical just means getting to the root. So it's not a word to be afraid of. You want people who are willing to get to the root of the conundrum, of the problem. And that is what made FDR so successful, even though there were flaws there. Don't get us wrong. We know the racialized nature of some stuff needed to be fixed. But here we are in the 21st century. We have a template that we can enhance. Thanks to FDR, who said, "Judge me by my enemies." He told the status quo of his day, "I welcome your hatred." Well, we have the same status quo. It's called oligarchs. It's the oil industry. It's the pharmaceutical industry. It is the healthcare industry. That is the sick care industry. They do not want us to have universal health care. They do not want us to have a Green New Deal. They do not want you to live a good life. All they want to do is jet up to space and monk it up there. And after they got done messing up Mother Earth, they're going to leave the rest of us down here. We can have better. But more importantly, I want the people of this country to know in their soul that they deserve better. Because once you comport yourself in that manner, that you know that you know that you know that you know that you deserve better, then you will never allow anybody to walk over you, to mess over you, to mess with what you love. And that is planet, that is people, baby. And charity starts at home and spreads abroad. And so we got to get a lot more charity here. And for God's sakes, absolutely has to spread abroad. We are citizens of this nation, and we are also citizens of the world. What happens over there happens over here. So we need this 21st Century Economic Bill of Rights. We deserve this 21st Century Economic Bill of Rights.
That's right. And when you think about why we needed even to expand, look, I think before it was 61% of Americans were in the middle class. That's now shrunk down to 50%. The middle class is shrinking. And not that, being in the middle class is something that's luxurious, but at least people were able to buy homes and meet some of those basic needs and pass a little something down to their children. children. And that's becoming more and more out of reach as the economics in our nation are shifting. The rich is becoming richer, the poor is becoming poor. And those numbers to me tell me that something like this is so needed. Even you have families who are out here shopping for homes right now. Homes are selling for $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, $100,000 over the asking price. If you're on that bottom end of middle class, there's no way you can even compete. You could be approved for a home loan and not even be able to buy a house because homes are selling way more than market value. And so, I think that you both have touched on why these bills are so needed from an economic standpoint, from an environmental standpoint.
That's right.
And how people can get in and support. The date you mentioned briefly, Professor, that's approaching soon is primaries, correct?
On Tuesday, indeed, and I want to repeat, the most important primary of this election season is this coming Tuesday in Ohio. Everyone must do what they can this weekend to boost an already dynamic campaign by Nina Turner to send her to Congress next year. I can tell you that I'm not even thinking about any other primaries. This is the only one that in my heart, I believe is fundamental to the democracy in America.
Absolutely. This Tuesday, Sister Turner, Nina Turner, I am going to be supporting you, and everyone who around us who supports you, we're going to be throwing all of our support to push you. I just want to say this for anyone who may not know, like FDR said, you'll know a person by their enemies. And Sister Turner, I like the people who don't like you. I like that list. It's because I don't like them either. Those people who are lining up against you to make themselves your enemy, those are the type of people we don't want in our coalition, because we need people who are going to fight with integrity. That's just my bully pulpit for a second. I want you to know that we've got your back, because we also know who are the people coming after you, and we are going after them.
Thank you so much, Brother Ben, Sister Georgia. I really do appreciate that. And, we should all be concerned, not just about what's happening in the 11th Congressional District, but as we all know here, that when money like that, the magnitude that's coming into this district happens here, it's happening over there too. The 11th Congressional District could be anywhere in this country where oligarchs decide who's going to lead. And just because the oligarch and just because the person you run it against may be from your same, tribe, so to speak, does not mean that they are your kind. It is a difference here. It is, and we cannot allow people to come into our community and decide who our leaders are going to be and hide behind a black face. The bottom line is that having $2 million or more, it's probably going to be more than that when all is said and done. I mean, I can't even keep up with the number of super PACs that they are creating just to bump up against one little girl from Cleveland, one now grown a woman from Cleveland, just one. I mean, I keep joking. My black girl magic must be something else, baby. I mean, it must be, because the rapper, when he says it's going to take a nation of millions, nation of millions to hold me back. I'm starting to feel like that right now. But on a more serious note, in terms of what a real representative democracy looks like, when you have that magnitude of money coming from an oil baroness that donated, $2 million to the DMFI PAC, and they're using $1 million of it in this race. When you have a cryptocurrency billionaire from Silicon Valley decide to peek over and peer over into this district and decide to drop $1 million in, when you have these kind of blue dog status quo keeping Democrats look over into the 11th Congressional District to say, we don't want a freedom fighter to come to Congress. We don't want somebody that's going to shake things up. We don't want someone who's going to force us to look in the mirror at ourselves and determine whose side we really on. Let us dip on in the 11th Congressional District in Greater Cleveland and suppress the vote by maligning and manipulating. That should not happen anywhere in the country. And I would be saying this whether I was on the ballot or not. It is wretched. And that is why one of the worst Supreme Court decisions of our time, and there have been many bad ones, is Citizens United. And we got to do something about that. And organizations like American Promise and some others who are laser focused on trying to overturn Citizens United so that this level of money cannot pour into communities, and that you really give the voice back to the people whose voice it really is, who should be making the decision. It's a difference between getting $27 from somebody that lives, in another state and getting $2 million from singular sources who do not care about the health and well-being of anybody in the 11th congressional district.
That's right.
They've never stepped foot in this district to feed the homeless, to look our children in the eye, to make sure that they're getting a good education, that their communities are safe and beautiful. They don't care about that. They only care about their singular focus, which is to keep power and control, and they will buy politicians. And it is unfortunate that one of the politicians in this race that is running is for sale, just like so many others.
And the truth shall set you free. Professor Harvey Kaye, State Senator Nina Turner, we are looking forward to supporting you. Everyone in the 11th District, go out and vote this Tuesday in that primary. Thank you both for joining us this morning.